language learning, and all sorts of other stuff, and we play games.
This is Elise with an update on the ongoing Inessa Armand translation project. We now have 37 of the 38 extant essays and speeches by Inessa Armand translated into English for the first time, and we are just short of the halfway mark on the fundraising progress as well. This enrichment of the English language Marxist canon has only been possible with your support, and it's been a real lifeline for me. So anyone who would like to support this project can find links in the description for how to do so, and everybody who has already supported it has my sincerest thanks.
Perfect. Okay, 3 of 4.
El hospital.
還元一級の先というのは本当に誰も知らない字ばっかりでしょうね。私は
Okay, we've leveled up and it is time to pick another language. Morfar är tröttare än vanligt. Maten är färdig. And let's see what we're doing when we get back. Greek. We're doing Greek when we get back. Her gün okulanmayı. Fun fact. Turkish. Hello, Shakespeare. How you doing? Fun fact, in Spanish, the word for bishop in chess is alfil. And that actually comes from Arabic. Fil. The same word fil as this. Meaning elephant, because the bishop traditionally was to represent elephant units somehow. Similarly, in Russian, the word for bishop is squab, and that also means elephant. Okay.
This is Elise with an update on the ongoing Inessa Armand translation project. We now have 37 of the 38 extant essays and speeches by Inessa Armand translated into English for the first time, and we are just short of the halfway mark on the fundraising progress as well. This enrichment of the English language Marxist canon has only been possible with your support, and it's been a real lifeline for me. So anyone who would like to support this project can find links in the description for how to do so, and everybody who has already supported it has my sincerest thanks.
Ça, c'est ça, ça, que c'est ça, non ça, c'est ça, sol chi sa che nulla sa, ne sa più di chi ne sa. Ecco.
Bonjour et bienvenue à Hyper Polyglotting avec Élise. Moi c'est Élise, traductrice, éditrice et écrivain avec 20 ans de travail. Et ça c'est la transmission en direct ou en jeu des jeux, surtout GeoGuessr en dernier temps. Et parle des langues, de la linguistique, de l'acquisition des langues.
10-159. Haven't made a huge dent in it, but we're getting there. Okay, gonna do some Chinese now. Nej. Nej. Man. Igen. Jo. 5. Ducks are drinking wine. Bangvaz, okay, Bangvaz is duck. Okay, I have now leveled up. Let's see what the XP situation is now. 10,340 out of 12,500. And as always, viewers can choose my next language for me just with a follow and a $5 to my Patreon.
Sotto le frasche del capanno 4 gatti grossi stanno. sotto quattro grossi sassi, quattro grossi e grassi gatti. Un généreux déjeuner régénéré, des généraux dégénérés. Un généreux déjeuner régénéré, des généraux dégénérés. Facile.
Sì, sì, ecco, la gente, è la cosa che mi dice la gente, sempre che scoprisce che quante lingue parlo, io sempre avevo l'impressione, diciamo, di che non era così, non era tan così, ma poi, dopo di aver visto qualche poliglota in YouTube, una delle cose che avevo scoperte era giustamente che la metodologia usata da quella gente poliglota che non avevo mai conosciuta prima, era più o meno la stessa metodologia che usavo io.
I buy a computer or what? Here's another example. I like to point these out. For this word for or, but sounds vaguely like Hogun and the Hok in Hogun in Korean or Waku in Japanese, and that's because it is the exact same kind of character.
Okay, let me see.
Un chasseur, sa chambre chassée, ses chassés sont son chien de chasse.
Der dicke Dach.
Okay, der dicke Dachdecker deckt dir dein Dach, drum dank dem dicken Dachdecker, dass der dicke Dachdecker dir dein Dach deckt.
Hola y bienvenidos al directo de Hyperpolyglotting with Elise. Yo soy Elisa, traductora, escritora y editora y comunicadora social con más de 20 idiomas de trabajo. Y aquí vamos a estar jugando videojuegos, sobre todo GeoGuessr, y hablando de idiomas, la mejor forma de aprenderlo y caleta más.
Zwei Zwetschgenzweigen zwitscherten zwei tschechische Schwalben. Tres tristes tigres tragaban trigo en un trigal en tres tristes trastos.
Oh, I see. This says Diche Ishai Fui, which means do you want food? But yeah, are you hungry? That kind of thing. How are the boys? Cocine tapon. Poso milao. Pote. Buenas proteine. Protoculo. In the designated chicken eating area, obviously.
Okay, still 3 times I have to defeat him. And I don't have a whole lot of health left.
This is Elise with an update on the ongoing Inessa Armand translation project. We now have 37 of the 38 extant essays and speeches by Inessa Armand translated into English for the first time. And we are just short of the halfway mark on the fundraising progress as well. This enrichment of the English language Marxist canon has only been possible with your support, and it's been a real lifeline for me. So anyone who would like to support this project can find links in the description for how to do so, and everybody who has already supported it has my sincerest thanks.
Messier. Livre. Liwe, livre.
Mustan kissan paksut posket.
Mathieu.
Yeah.
Pierre. C. Et Sophie. Mathieu. Proč? Víte. Počkej. A. C.
Track 6.
Aspri petra xes aspri apton ilioxex asproteri. Aspri petra xes aspri apton ilioxex asproteri.
En coginio panas.
Oh boy.
Ad ferad verda ferda vetri.
Jacob.
Hefed.
Okay.
Hefed.
Okay.
Hefed. Hefed. Hek. Hek. Hek.
Саша пошас.
А Саша по шоссе несла сушку на честь.
Hello and welcome to Hyperpolyglotting with Elise. I'm Elise, translator, writer, and editor with 20 working languages, and this is the stream. We're going to play some GeoGuessr, and we're going to take a look at some of the best, and perhaps not so best, of language learning YouTube. One second. Just to mute Telegram so that it isn't constantly going over the stream. And we're going to play some GeoGuessr. We'll start out with the daily challenge, since we're doing that lately, and I've enjoyed that. Okay, here we go. We got a car park. Gäller ej fordon med tillstånd. Okej, vi finns i Sverige. Det är för nu det endaste det vi vet. Myrnade gatan. Någonstans i Sverige. Ingenjörshuset. Nils Erikssons gymnasiet. Karlstad, Göteborg, E45. Okay, we are west of Göteborg. We're on the E45. Okay, pretty good idea where we are. Somewhere around there, probably. 4850, that is one of the best scores I've ever had on a daily challenge. Okay. Let's look at this pylon here. Yeah, not sure. Could be a lot of places so far. I see, what does that light look like? Okay, probably not North America. Probably not the US or Canada. Yeah, like this barbed wire, that fencing doesn't look right for the US or Canada. Let me just make sure. Yeah. Good. Mármol y granito. Okay, someplace Spanish speaking. Pero ¿dónde? Punto de encuentro. Para sismos igual. No sé, weón. It's kind of dry and scrubby. We're in an industrial estate. Vou passar. Yeah, really not sure about this place. So far, I haven't seen anything. A stop sign would help. And so there are no stop signs. That's annoying. It's just a crappy industrial estate of which there are millions. But I have this vague feeling it might be someplace around Santiago. Yeah, Argentina, 3062. Okay, that's an old-looking tractor. Possibly Russia. Yeah, here we go. Stu. Shinomontage. Mika. Seda Market. Henadi Korba. Nadina Sila. We are in Ukraine. How's everybody doing, chat? Okay, someplace in Ukraine. $42.58, not bad. Not bad for a daily challenge. Okay, what's this? Okay, that tells me we're probably someplace in Europe. What have we got here? Estonia, possibly. At least that vehicle is from Estonia. That does not necessarily mean, however, that we are in Estonia. Made that mistake before. Some more indicative. Okay, automat. Yes. Estonia, and I'm gonna guess someplace around Tallinn. Estonia, yes, not someplace around Tallinn. Still 46.35, not bad. Okay, we got palm trees, we got like hillsides, very dry and mountainous. This could be Chile, could be a lot of places. Not Chile, Fazenda Caiçara. A gente fica no Brasil. Mas onde? Aquele é o problema. O Brasil é um país fodidamente grande. Sei lá. Mas acho que a gente fica em alguma parte do estado de Mato Grosso. No, Bahia. Not surprisingly, Brazil was my worst score. Because Brazil is huge. Top 37.33 though, not too bad. Okay, going back to some world. DPD 80 km/h. Neunkirchen, Wilnsdorf, Betzdorf. Okay, I've never heard of any of those places, but it looks like we're in a German-speaking place. Those names certainly are very German place names. Ausfahren, this is definitely Germany. That much is clear. Ersatzneubau von 3 Talbrücken bis Ende 24. Yeah, this is Verkehrsministerium. Yeah. Für digitales Unverkehr. Been renaming a lot of ministries. For some reason they decided that digital stuff should go in the same place as transport. I guess they're taking information superhighway very literally. No, there's a DPD depot here. Okay. I imagine there are rather a lot of them. Dortmund. A45 Dortmund. West. Okay, we're going west on, and that's 116,900. So, Winterberg, Recklinghausen, Unna. Where's Okay, there's 46, 44. Where's 45, though? There we are. So, 116 kilometers out of Dortmund, in one direction or another. Well, actually, it looks like there's only one direction it can be. It seems that originates there. Neunkirchen. Weddinghofen, Höchsten, Holzen, Garenfeld, all sorts of West German places I've never heard of. Weberg, klingt schmerzhaft. Schalksmühle, Homert, Bollwerk, Immelscheid, Lengelscheid. Neuenhaus, Bracht. Aber Neunkirchen. Oberholzklau. Wenn man ganz besonders viel Holz stiehlt, dann begeht man ja Oberholzklau. Wildberger Hütte. Lützelseifen. Okay. I feel like we must have missed it. Auf dem Dümpel. Bracht. Schäler, Sundhöllen. Schnarrüben. Dünnebrett. Haslei, Hohenlimburg, Stüpperberg. Okay. Germania, Lütgen, Dortmund. Westerfelde. Okay. A general idea where it is anyway. $47.74. Not breaking any records, but not a bad score. Wait, okay, what is that? That's a three-wheeler. No, it's a cyclo, I think. We might be in Cambodia. I mean, certainly the vegetation is reading Southeast Asia. Can't make that sign out, but it doesn't look Cambodian. So maybe not Cambodia. but possibly Indonesia. Get Indonesia a fair bit. Indonesia looks a lot like this. Marca el mate. Alianza algo. God, okay, it looks like I'm way off. This is not Southeast Asia. César Gallardo, Edgar Ceballos, Alianza Regional, Junín Sostenible, Ángel Unchupac. Okay. Okay, way off. Definitely not Cambodia. Definitely not Indonesia either. This is someplace Spanish speaking. Oh, Google, why did you have to block that off? Yes. None of those candidates, and the name Junín does not really ring a bell. Presidencia de la República. ¿Qué república? MTCA. Ah, chucha. Muy lejos para poder leer. Catarata Santa Maria. Apparently you can do abseiling there. Okay, so someplace, I'm gonna say in northern South America. Colombia comes to mind as a definite possibility. Colombia is pretty lush like this. Oh, hang on, what was that? Con gente nueva. Pavano. Covidiali. Ok, comidas y bebidas heladas. Emprendedores. Alcalde distrital de Covidiali. I mean, I guess Ecuador is also a possibility here. Oh, hang on. Trouble is that, no, I haven't heard of, these are all these regional politicians. Fuerza Popular. K. ¿Como Keiko? ¿Estamos en el Perú? Okay. This could be Perú. Okay. Café y cacao. Proyecto Perú. Central Café y Cacao del Perú, Satipo. We're in Peru. I have very rarely ended up in Peru. Yes, that was Caco Moqueco. You see that symbol all over the place because the Fujimoritas have people painting that shit all over the walls, all up and down the country. Satipo. So we're in the green part of Peru. But not all the way up in the mountains.
Cajamarca. Huánuco, Puerto Inca. Satipo. Huancayo. Ok, a la misma altura de Lima. Eso es fácil. Ok, Huancayo. Río Negro, Satipo. Ontario. 4975. Not bad. That is the way I learned this from a book on Peruvian constitutional law that I bought when I was there a few years ago. They organized the departments of Peru. No, I wanted to stay on the fucking interstate. Or whatever that was. They organized it so every one of them gets at least some. Oh, we're in Tennessee. Tennessee 109. Of the three major types of ecosystems that Peru has, which is desert, well, four really, because you've got coast, you've got desert, and then you've got, well, no, it is three. Coast, desert, and rainforest. Gallatin and Hendersonville, 31 East. Okay, so we're in Tennessee. A lot of things named after Gallatin. There's a Gallatin County not too far from here. And nobody's ever mentioned who Gallatin even is. Probably somebody who sucked. Gallatin and Hendersonville. We're by Nashville. Okay, yes. From Peru to Tennessee. 4980, not bad. Okay. Chimum Ritzafa. Ma'ashalu. Okay. Hayeshut. It's El Gayan. أين في الكيان؟ نخ زخمان Ma'uman. Hello, River Rune. How you doing? Okay. חגורים, חושבים חיים.
Think about life. Okay. Not bad. Azriel. Wasn't that Gargamel's cat on the Smurfs? I'm actually fairly... Yeah, that was Gargamel's cat on the Smurfs. This place is named after Gargamel's cat. Moshav Azriel. Okay. Yeah. Hey, Badger, how you doing? Carmiel. Kiryat Ata. Tabaria. Okay. So we still... Okay, we're someplace near named after Gargamel's cat. Moshav Azriel. But I'm not actually sure where that is. Slow road humps. How did Food Distro go? My eyes initially saw Food Bistro, and I was like, is there any other kind? Come on, give me something more than this. It's got to be a motorway or something nearby. So far, we've narrowed it down a little bit. We are in a country that has 3 fewer F-35s than it had yesterday. Reportedly, I should say. Oh, good. Here we go. That narrows it down. We're on the 553 by Netanya. Kfar Saba. Okay, 557. 554. What was it? 553, wasn't it? Yeah. There's 553. Telmond. Ah, there we go, Azriel. $49.95. Okay, this feels like the US or Canada straight off. The yellow markings on the street, the cornfields, the signage, it all feels pretty US, Canadian, US Canadian, us-Nadian, Usadian. Canusa, it's got a Canusa feel. There's a road up in Vermont/Quebec that where the border is the median. It is called Canusa because it is half in Canada, half in the US. Which must create fascinating and really irritating jurisdictional problems anytime there's a crash. Like any kind of road traffic accident. How do they even deal with that? There must... means you potentially have jurisdiction in both countries. Oh wait, was that a US flag just now? Yeah, it looks like one, yes. Okay. This is in LA. Rice County. Okay. That sign, I feel like that might be Texas. I feel like I've seen something like that other times when I've been on here and it's been Texas. When I was in Cardiff, we had a pretty active food not bombs thing going on. Just outside the Cardiff Covered Market. Okay, a very pretty little area wherever it is. We know it's Rice County. What's less clear is where Rice County is. Though I have a feeling it's Texas. Something about that sign makes me think Texas. Could we possibly get some more signs? Okay, this is going on forever. Okay, Rice County 58. Oh, hang on. I might have wanted to go on there. Is it not gonna let me? It might not be letting me go on Rice County 58. Or on Rice County 1. It's nice to have something to do that lets one get out of one's head a bit. Lonsdale. An actual place name. So Lonsdale, which is in Rice County. And is blurry. It's a very blurry place. Less blurry now. This looks like... Okay, Rice County Route 1. Millersburg and Independence. Now give me something. I didn't, when I said something, I did not mean more blurriness. I very specifically did not mean more blurriness. Yes, good on you. Things that sucks being out in the middle of nowhere with no transportation, really. No public transportation is the limited opportunities to do things like that. Okay, what's the south? What? Minnesota. Oh, I was way wrong. Minnesota Route 21. There's 22. Lonsdale, there we go. Good Thunder. Neat place name. Little Chicago. Yes, very little. There we go. Millersburg Boulevard and Independence Avenue. There we are. $49.72. With that, I'm going to take a little bio break. I'll be back in just a few minutes.
Hi, and welcome to Hyperpolyglotting with Elise. I am Elise, translator, editor, and writer with 20 working languages, and this is where we talk about languages and language learning and all sorts of other stuff, and we play games.
This is Elise with an update on the ongoing Inessa Armand translation project. We now have 37 of the 38 extant essays and speeches by Inessa Armand translated into English for the first time, and we are just short of the halfway mark on the fundraising progress as well. This enrichment of the English language Marxist canon has only been possible with your support, and it's been a real lifeline for me. So anyone who would like to support this project can find links in the description for how to do so, and everybody who has already supported it has my sincerest thanks.
Perfect. Okay, 3 of 4.
El hospital.
還元一級の先というのは、本当に誰も知らない字ばっかりでしょうね。私は
Okay, we've leveled up and it is time to pick another language. Morfar är tröttare än vanligt. Maten är färdig. And let's see what we're doing when we get back. Greek. We're doing Greek when we get back. Ben neredeyse her gün okula giderim. Uyum. Fun fact. Turkish. Hello, Shakespeare. How you doing? Fun fact, in Spanish, the word for bishop in chess is alfil. And that actually comes from Arabic. Fil. The same word fil as this. Meaning elephant, because the bishop traditionally was to represent elephant units somehow. Similarly, in Russian, the word for bishop is squab, and that also means elephant.
This is Elise with an update on the ongoing Inessa Armand translation project. We now have 37 of the 38 extant essays and speeches by Inessa Armand translated into English for the first time, and we are just short of the halfway mark on the fundraising progress as well. This enrichment of the English language Marxist canon has only been possible with your support, and it's been a real lifeline for me. So anyone who would like to support this project can find links in the description for how to do so, and everybody who has already supported it has my sincerest thanks.
Ça, c'est ça, che c'est ça, non ça, c'est ça. Sol chi sa che nulla sa, ne sa più di chi ne sa. Ecco.
Bienvenue à Hyper Polyglotting avec Élise. Moi, c'est Élise, traductrice, éditrice et écrivain avec 20 ans de travail. Et ça, c'est la transmission en direct ou en jeu des jeux, surtout GeoGuessr en dernier temps. Et parle des langues, de la linguistique, de l'acquisition des langues.
10-159. Haven't made a huge dent in it, but we're getting there. Okay, gonna do some Chinese now. Night. Night. Come on. Bien. Yo. 5. Ducks are drinking wine. Bambas. Bamba, okay, Bambas is duck. Okay, I have now leveled up. Let's see what the XP situation is now. 10,340 out of 12,500. And as always, viewers can choose my next language for me just with a follow and a $5 to my Patreon.
Sotto le frasche del capanno 4 gatti grossi stanno. Sotto 4 grossi sassi, 4 grossi e grassi gatti. Un généreux déjeuner régénéré des généraux dégénérés. Un généreux déjeuner régénéré des généraux dégénérés. Facile. Sì, ecco, la gente... è la cosa che mi dice la gente, sempre che scoprisce che quante lingue parlo. Io sempre avevo l'impressione, diciamo, di che non era così, non era tan così, ma poi dopo di aver visto qualche poliglota in YouTube, una delle cose che avevo scoperte era giustamente che la metodologia usata da quella gente poliglota che non avevo mai conosciuta prima, era più o meno la stessa metodologia che usavo io.
I buy a computer or what? Here's another example. I like to point these out. For this word for or, what sounds vaguely like hogun and the hok in hogun in Korean or waku in Japanese, and that appears it is the exact same kind of character.
Okay, let me see.
Un chasseur sachant chasser, ses chassés sont son chien de chasse.
Dicke Dach.
Okay, der dicke Dachdecker deckt dir dein Dach, drum dank dem dicken Dachdecker, dass der dicke Dachdecker dir dein Dach deckt. Hola y bienvenidos al directo de Hyper Polyglotting with Elise. Yo soy Elisa, traductora, escritora y editora y comunicadora social con más de 20 idiomas de trabajo. Y aquí vamos a estar jugando videojuegos, sobre todo GeoGuessr, y hablando de idioma, la mejor forma de aprenderlo y caleta más. Zwei Zwetschgenzweigen zwitscherten zwei tschechische Schwalben. Tres tristes tigres tragaban trigo en un trigal en tres tristes trastos.
Oh, I see. This is Diche Ishai Fui, which means do you want food? But yeah, we are.
Okay, and I am back. Hi, Giga M. Okay. Not entirely. Oh, wait, okay. Nothing written on that yield sign, so we're not in the US. That bin also. Tag und Nacht aktiv. Okay, German speaking place.
Vienna, Wien, 13. Bezirk, Münich-Reiter Straße. Rosenberg. Okay. Impulstanz. Humana. Mühlbacher Gasse. Stadlergasse. Autobus- und Straßenbahnhaltestelle. Okay. 13. Bezirk. Wo war das nochmal? Ketzergasse. Heretic Street. Neat. Leinzer Straße. Okay. That might help a bit. Leasing. Oberla. Favoriten. Türkenschanzpark. Penzing, Hietzing, Friedenstadt. Erla. St. Marx. Okay. Trouble. A really annoying thing about Google Maps with Vienna is that they don't number the districts. They give you the name, but they don't give you the number. 60er Straßenbahn. Leinzer Straße.
trying to see if I can find the actual something that says the name of the district. Alban. Wittgensteinstraße. Ja, wahrscheinlich. Leinzer Tiergarten. Ja, Leins. Leinzer Tor. Friedensteile. Kräftsgasse. Weinroter Gasse, Biragi-Gasse, Speising. Hermes, Dvorak, Ebersberg, Dr. Schober. $49.93. Okay, now we are back in Canusa, that much is clear. Signet income tax bookkeeping. Suburban pharmacy. U.S. Postal Service. Okay, we're in the U.S. Columbus Door Company. Yeah, we're in the land of blurriness again. So far, very nondescript sort of place. Could be, like, kind of anywhere. Portuguese club. That makes me think maybe Massachusetts. New England Highway Technologies. Yeah, okay. That also tends to suggest... Well, it certainly makes Massachusetts more likely. No, I didn't want to go off onto this damn side street. No. 401 area code isn't saying anything to me. Oh, but a city bus should help. Neighborhood Health Plan of Rhode Island. Yes, that definitely helps. So we're not in Boston suburbs, we are in Providence suburbs, because that's basically all there is in Rhode Island. So, I think I saw some signs suggesting that maybe this place is called Columbus. Elmwood Avenue. Okay, Rhode Island Route 12, that helps. Two, 1A. Okay. There we go, 12. Given that it's Rhode Island, it is actually kind of difficult to be too far wrong. Rhode Island is tiny. There's very little to it. 4981. Okay. We're on a motorway. There are mountains nearby, and I don't think this is Canada or the US. It's right side driving. Pretty surroundings. Yeah, kilometers in green. Yeah, yeah, this looks like this was just paved or just resurfaced. This is like the best quality asphalt we've seen in a while on GeoGuessr. Never seen signs quite like that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is... Oh wow, some brief sign of roadworks, but you can't actually see why they would need roadworks. This looks absolutely... This looks like nobody's ever driven on it. Odmoriste, Lichko Leshtia. Which apparently does not have bogs. Oh, we're going into a tunnel. Well, I mean, this is... So I think we are in the Czech Republic. Tunel Plasina. Well, you can see, look at the high ISO noise. The automatic exposure adjustment has cranked this up into like the 6,000 range. At least. Come on, let's get out of this tunnel. Let's get someplace where we can actually see a bit better. Interesting. There's like, it's nothing but noise on the wall except for these emergency exit signs. Apparently they're emitting enough light that there's no noise on them. Or reflecting it anyway. Okay, it's the light at the end of the tunnel. Lichkolestie. No, this is not Czech. Odmoriste. Croatia, maybe. Lichkolestie. And just pure luck. I've never heard of the place, but I immediately zoomed in on it and then dropped my mouse. Yeah, I mean, this is easily the best road I've seen in a long time. And how far off is it? $49.73. Prosper construction inspections. Okay. Yes, we are no longer in Lichkolestia. Look at the, look at all the patching on these U.S. roads. Welcome to Reynolds, home of the Eagles. Apparently. Reynolds, Texas. Well, that simplifies things. Prosper. Oh, wait. So, okay. We don't know. Prosperability inspections could certainly be a brand name, in which case this isn't necessarily anywhere near Prosper, the town outside of Dallas. Prosper, but it looks more like probably it is. $49.94. Okay, let's see, what does the sign tell us? Komanesht. Okay, that sounds like we're in Romania. Suceava Kachika Botoșana. 178 A. All towns I've never heard of, so it doesn't help a lot. It'd be nice if there was, like, a sign saying how far Bucharest was.
Romanian. Irgendwo in Rumänien. Got a weird message saying to activate chat, please enable channels here. Oh, this is the wrong... How many fucking Restream accounts have I accidentally opened? Apparently I've opened several just by accident. Something about the place names makes me think we're probably closer to Serbia and Bulgaria than we are to Hungary. And totally wrong. Right. That isn't the... to the north, it also borders on Ukraine. I was noticing that you get a lot of Hungarian place names over this way, and I'd forgotten all about that there was another Slavic-speaking place that they bordered on, where you might also find... Slavic place names. Okay, we're going to change gears a little bit. Badger only just noticed this message in chat. Werner Herzog's Heart of Glass. Actually, I don't think I have seen it. What is it about?
started to watch an interesting video from Days and Words, like, last week.
Ineffective at teaching languages for the entirety of its existence. Duolingo never really...
About how Duolingo has... the enshittification arc of Duolingo has completed now. And a lot of people are panicking and talking about how Duolingo is now useless. And the point is, Duolingo for, like, learning languages already was useless. It was never any good for that. And Days and Words is always good value, so I'm gonna drop that link in chat, and we're gonna check that out.
So Duolingo never really worked before this. It has been very ineffective at teaching languages for the entirety of its existence, but recently they announced that it will not just be getting worse, but will be absolutely terrible.
Duolingo has made this app more and more progressively useless in terms of actual language learning.
Which is amazing considering where it started. It was already useless.
They, of course, did not use that language, instead going with the language of an AI-first company.
Not AI-assisted, not AI-enhanced, just AI first.
You don't need to speak any other language to know that AI first means garbage, slop, shit. And also, the price is going up. You're paying more.
Period piece Nostradamus type figure. Whole town is under a spell. Very interesting. No, I haven't heard of that one.
The garbage slop.
Like, where's all my money going? You're not adding new lessons.
It's going to shareholders. It's going where it's supposed to in capitalism.
For courses.
A new app has come out that has all the best elements of Duolingo.
Like what? What were the good elements of Duolingo?
The fact that you could turn it off and do something worthwhile.
It's like saying something includes all the best elements of the Chernobyl nuclear disaster. What were the good elements? Uranium. I honestly don't think that anyone is talking about the worst element of all this, and we're going to get to that. Deel ut. Det funkar faktiskt aldrig.
Hola, me llamo Alice. Hola, me llamo Sally. Tengo un gato. Un gato muy bonita.
I'm going to show you something that really sucks that YouTube is now doing. We're going to wait for this part to end. But YouTube has introduced a feature to make the platform, like, infinitely shittier. And they're forcing it, and this video will be pretty good for, like, demonstrating it.
¿Dónde está el banco? Mi gusto comida. Mi hermana es muy simpática.
Duolingo has always been known for having little mistakes here or there. They were always very forgivable because it was like, this is just a small team run by some people.
Yeah, I mean, which was not the case.
Who really want people to get into language learning.
What? No, like, yeah, maybe in the early days, but I'm talking like the really early days when the people
like literally the very beginning
were fucking Aztecs. In all seriousness, Duolingo has never been a little startup who couldn't afford to fix mistakes, even in 2011 when they started.
Yeah, or to pay translators or any of the other things they avoided paying for.
Their focus has always been on money, and the mistakes did not cost them money or did not cost them very much money, so they didn't fix them.
And make more money.
And if you're one of those people who thinks, well, no,
Okay, so now I'm going to show you this. We're watching, he has, we're listening to him speaking, and this is a thing that YouTube will not let you turn off. In fact, not only that, on shorts, so like at least on like full-length videos, you can select this. On shorts, you have absolutely no way of turning it off. The only way you can turn it off is as a creator, you can turn it off on your videos, except I have looked all over my settings on YouTube and I cannot find anywhere where I can turn this so-called automatic dubbing feature off. Let me just show you this garbage.
Bueno, no, en los primeros días solo se centraron en el dinero porque era completamente gratis. Sí, todavía pueden haberse centrado en el dinero en ese entonces. Es que tienen una visión
Okay, so you get a nice machine voice.
mucho más largo plazo de cómo ganar mucho dinero de lo que la mayoría de nosotros podemos imaginar.
And you get a bad translation. You get a bad translation and a creepy machine voice. And like there's a channel I watch for legal stuff in Argentina called Soy Jurista, and occasionally he does shorts. And I turned on one of these shorts the other day because they were talking about some sort of development around the various decrees that Milei has imposed in order to just completely screw over the working class. And what I get is creepy voice in English, well, an attempt at English, with bad machine translation. And there was no way to turn that shit off. Like, YouTube, if you're going to put this bullshit on there, which you shouldn't because it does not improve anything, you need to make it easy to turn it off because nobody wants to hear machine voices on these videos.
It's the same thing with something like Facebook. We all know that Mark Zuckerberg is a greedy bastard who wants to rule the entire world. It's very plain to see. But from the early days of Facebook, it was not plain to see. It looked like it was there to help people connect. But
well, I mean, let's... now I have to do the thing that he just did and say, well, if we're talking about the early days of Facebook, it was a way for creepy fuckers to rate the relative hotness of women at universities.
You would have to be really stupid to be someone who, in 2025, looks back at early Facebook and goes, you know what, it used to really be about connecting people. Now it's just about money. And it's exactly the same story with Duolingo. It was never about teaching the world languages. Okay?
Yeah, because the thing is, actually, the methods that really work are not easy to monetize. And they really cannot be accurately, I mean, there's no way to really mechanize them either for the most part.
It was always about making billions of dollars. It's just that from day one, the best way to make billions of dollars was to appear to be your friend.
Yeah, in a very, very manipulative way.
Duolingo used to be beloved language learning tool. Never because it was like the most amazing, but because it was successful at making people do it.
Yeah, I mean, again, psychological manipulation. That is what it was always very good at.
I think that was always the sell. The sell was never, hey, this is the most effective way to learn the language.
I mean, that's literally a thing that they say about themselves, though, which is just a lie.
Word for word, no. Technically, you're right, Ludwig. That was not the sell. The sell always was, and still is, the world's best way to learn a language, which is just a little bit stronger, and I would argue, more bullshit. Okay, so we don't need to do this again. Duolingo doesn't work now, but it actually never really did. I showed that in this video here, which, for obvious reasons...
Yeah, we watched that on stream, and he was not fluent. And not only was he not fluent, okay, it was like it was doubly inaccurate, because he claimed to have become fluent in German using only Duolingo. And neither of those two claims, the fluency or the only using Duolingo, was actually true.
And did not like, but it doesn't really make what I said any less true. But if you didn't watch that video, the quick summary of my argument is, if Duolingo was ever going to work in any obscene amount that you want to name for any person over any length of time anywhere in the world, then it would have worked then and there for Evan in German. Not like Japanese or something, but German. And it would have worked if it worked.
Let's be honest, trying to learn a language with Duolingo is like trying to learn how to play guitar with Guitar Hero. It is pretty close to being that stupid. You will be shocked to know that.
I mean, and this, I don't understand, like, even if it was a language learning channel, that isn't being elitist. That is pointing out, like, that is trying to help people avoid throwing away their money on bullshit. It isn't elitist to point out that there's, like, a scam going around that takes shitloads of your money, claiming to teach you languages, and is literally never going to do that thing.
but it will psychologically manipulate you into staying on it for a very long time, despite no real return in terms of actual language learning. So, I mean, I don't think there's any elitism involved in that, whether it's a language learning channel or not.
Includes concepts like weekly leaderboards and XP. Doesn't actually care about your fluency in Spanish.
Yeah.
Somehow, I honestly can't believe I'm saying this, it's become worse.
We can't wait until the technology is 100% perfect. We'd rather move with urgency and take occasional small hits on quality. You can definitely tell there have been hits to quality.
Duolingo's dedication to nothing else if not shittiness is impressive. But it costs a fortune. Here's a quick summary of the history of Duolingo's monetization model. Originally, it was free, and it was billed as being free. Then it was free with ads, and it was billed as being free. Then came their first freemium stage where you could pay not to see ads and some other little perks. And
It's fucking expensive.
As being free. Then it was freemium again, but it was kind of pay to win, or at least pay to not have a really crappy experience, and it was billed as being free. And then it was even more pay to win and even more expensive.
Yeah, and I mean, let me just say the fact, I mean, it's true, it was very much a pay-to-win sort of arrangement they set up, and if the idea is actually to help people acquire languages, that is the most worthless thing ever. Because the whole point of pay to win is you are like skipping stages and or skipping some aspect of gameplay that they've put in that annoys people or something like that, or making it more likely that you will be able to succeed in by whatever standard the game sets, beating the boss, getting a certain number of points or whatever. But the thing is, if the goal is actually that you should acquire language from the thing, then paying to skip over experiences that are supposedly worthwhile for that purpose is defeating the fucking purpose, actually. Completely. Except the thing is, in the case of Duolingo, it's not, because it was never doing that to begin with.
And basically unusable if you didn't pay, and it was billed as being free.
Duolingo is the free, fun, and effective way to learn a language.
Let's try some of these other machine voices.
Naturally, dass sie sich schuldig fühlen, wenn sie einen Tag auslassen.
Dass sie sich schuldig fühlen, wenn sie einen Tag auslassen. Ich bin Locutus von Borg.
Manche weinen sogar darüber, weil diese Serie sich wie deine Identität anfühlt. Die meisten Leute zahlen nicht für...
Yeah, and this is also just, it barely bears mentioning shitty translation. And they just sort of forced this on people, they forced it on shorts. There's no way to turn this off. In fact, look at the title. If you look at the top left of the screen, you can't see it on your screen, so I'm going to move it. That's not it. It says, Duolingo ha terminado. ¿Qué pasa con los estudiantes de idiomas? And that is not the title of this video. That is the same garbage generator that YouTube is using for these garbage-ass machine voices that they're using for, this forced automated dubbing bullshit. And it's just wrong. Duolingo ha terminado is not what Duolingo is over means. Yeah, you would say se acabó Duolingo. Se murió Duolingo. Yeah, you would say it in all sorts of different ways. This just means Duolingo has finished doing something. What happens to the students of languages? This is just so fucking bad. And here's the other thing. Well, with the automatic title translation that is not good translation, it's just garbage. You also can't turn that off. The only thing you can do is change your, like, the language you view the YouTube through, and then it will choose based on that. But it makes it useless if you're trying to find videos in a certain language. Ahoy, language manual. Like, I'm sometimes specifically trying to find videos on a particular subject in a specific language on YouTube, because comprehensible input. So I will search in that language, and because of this crap, I will end up getting tons of results that are actually videos in English, or in German, or Italian, or something like that. But it will show me a title that is in Arabic. I think it once showed me an Agat Matar video when I did a search for Shatranj, and which is Arabic for chess. And rather than showing me Arabic chess videos, it showed me like English language chess creators. And it's no shade on Agat Matar. I love his channel, great stuff. But I was looking for something in Arabic. But so they're throwing this bullshit in here. I mean, this is pretty soon going to be like $1 trillion company. I mean, the way that they're just shoveling in fucking money. And this is, rather than like actually hiring translators, this is what they're doing. Although now I'm looking at this as a translator, and I'm thinking, the fact that YouTube is fucking everybody's content up with these garbage ass translations that you can't even turn off actually is potentially sort of allows for a sort of side. There's work for translators there, because if you enter your own accurate title in that language, it won't put that garbage in there. Yeah. And the voiceovers, except that a lot of the time, I mean, there are real voiceovers, but then, with actual, like, voice actors and somebody who knows the language translated the text and stuff like that, and there was actual thought put into it. But then a lot of these so-called dubbings, it's not dubbings. It's an ATM voice. It's the voice that the lift tells uses to tell you what floor you're going to.
They feel guilty when they miss a day. Some even cry over it, because that streak, it starts to feel like your identity. Most people don't pay for content, they pay to protect their streaks. Things like streak freezes keep your progress safe if you miss a day. If your whole idea of success is
What's with the voice? Is this...
do a streak number, which the goal ever really learning in the first place.
They don't want to be a language learning app. They want to be Temple Run. And
Okay, now something weird is going on. Is it sounding? That does not sound like Lamont.
And I'm not paying $20.
I mean, not this, the thing before it.
Even $10 a month for Temple Run.
And it was by this stage that...
Oh, here we go, this is right.
...about Duolingo, like, that it didn't work, I would get a lot of dumbasses in my comments saying, it's free, stop complaining. Newsflash, just because technically there is a free way to use something does not make $20 a month free. And it's not even particularly cheap.
Duolingo has finally removed access.
It's especially not cheap if you consider the price to value ratio. I mean, it's not, I mean, if it were $20 a month and you actually achieved the goal that you were trying to achieve, then you would be doing quite well. Then, yeah, that would potentially be, value for money. But this is, you're paying monthly for something that doesn't do the thing you're paying it to do.
Sentence discussions tab entirely. A move that inarguably has made the site and app worse.
In summary, it's a bad app that you can't learn a language from, and it's getting worse, and it will cost you significant amounts of money for the rest of your life. So I'd like to think that there was the opposite of that somewhere. Well, someone made that. It's called Speakly.
We actually looked over this the last time. It looks like an interesting app. It's called Speakly. I was actually trying it out a little bit, or beginning to.
$50 a month, and that's going down with every month because I bought a lifetime subscription like 4 years ago.
Yeah, their lifetime deal, apparently, which they have been sticking by, is like $78 a month or something like that. I don't get any money from these people. If I try it out and it actually looks worthwhile, I would consider like accepting a sort of sponsorship deal around along the lines that he is for this channel specifically.
Even today, in 2025, when a bar of chocolate that I'll probably eat in like 7 seconds is going to cost me like $19, a lifetime subscription to Speakly Premium for life, 4 times that much. I don't want to pause it and read it. You're very welcome to do that. I genuinely want people to read that, but for the people who don't, it's just a waste of time. So just pause it while it's here. Now, honestly, you can listen to what I have to say about it, but what I'd really recommend doing is just trying it with a 7-day free trial, which you can find in the description. But here are some of the reasons that I think Speakly is the very best. Words are taught as though they're individual words, but they always have context, meaning that as you see them come up multiple times, you don't even notice that you're developing a very natural sense of how that word is used, but also how the rest of the other words and the language as a whole is used in general. Contrast this with learning a single word, let's say the...
Yeah, I mean, the contextualization of things does look like a good feature.
Dog in French. And a bad app will just go between the English and the French like 40 times. It'll just be like, the dog, le chien, the dog, le chien, the dog, le chien, le chien. Whereas Speakly might start out with something like, my dog is wet, but you're only asked what the word for dog is. And as you get more advanced, you'll be asked more complicated things. This is already very in line with what we actually know about how languages are learned. And I haven't even talked about my favorite bit yet, which is the listening exercises. But when I say listening exercises, I'm not talking about like, j'ai un chien et un oiseau. No, because Speakly is for big boys and girls. So a listening exercise is anywhere between 3 and 12 minutes of good, clean audio spoken by an actual human.
I mean, these all sound like good features. I have not actually tried these things out. I'm not endorsing them, but on paper this looks actually quite good.
Questions directly about that exercise.
Listen for, I like these directions. Listen for words you know, good. Get your ears acquainted with a new language environment. Nice way of putting that. It's not necessary to understand everything, also good. Yeah, I mean, like, the thought that has gone into this, it looks like people who actually know something about how to acquire languages and want to help people achieve that were involved in making this. Because that makes all sorts of sense, the way that they're doing this.
Your job is not to be correct about the language, it is to listen to the language.
Yeah.
Hän on 23-vuotias.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's good. I mean, in fact, that is one of the things that I would generally advise people to do when looking at materials in their target language that are not necessarily that are rather a bit above their level. I mean, if you're learning Arabic and you're watching like Al Mayadeen or Al Jazeera Arabic or something like that, or Basil Al Hajj, the food vlogger, he did. Well, he said he did, and it was in the part I skipped over. But I will drop a link in chat because it looks like. I mean, I have to say, it looks actually like something worth trying out. I mean, there aren't a whole lot of languages on it now. Here's the pricing page, and this lifetime deal actually does look like not a bad idea. If they're going to stand by that, and you get access to the premium version of everything that's on there, for the as long as the company is there, for that amount, then, I mean, then you've done well, I would say, because it's like $70 or something like that. And you never have to pay again, I think. Is that how that works? Yeah, one-time payment. $70 one-time payment. And, I mean, that is a good deal, actually. And, so, you know, if it is at all useful, and, I mean, what he's describing there, certainly it seems like the philosophy around it is good. I haven't really had a good look around it. But, yeah, I mean, that's not a bad deal at all.
So I'm not going to lie, for many of you, especially if you're coming
I wasn't completely fucked at the moment. I would probably be doing that.
Doesn't treat you like a baby. There will be things that you don't understand. That's the point.
Yeah.
That's how you get better.
Yes, exactly.
Resultere i eskalering av konflikter på arbeidsplassen. Andre teammedlemmer kan begynne å ta parti, noe som kan påvirke stabiliteten i en organisasjon.
There is one big drawback to the app, and that is that it doesn't have that many languages.
Yeah.
Quality takes
That is one thing I noted.
If it had the language I was learning, I would not hesitate for 1 second. I would download it right now. You can do that with the link in the description, or just head to speakly.me.
Yeah, okay, so what languages? I mean, it's interesting. There's a very clear sort of Nordic tropism here. We've got Estonian, Finnish, Norwegian. Let's see, English, Russian, French, Spanish, German, Italian, Estonian, Finnish, Norwegian. I mean, Estonian is an interesting one to have in there if, you know, you're just getting your first, you know, your tight 10, basically. Which makes me wonder if the developers are Estonian.
You will get the 7-day free trial, so you can see what I'm talking about, because you can do as much of it as you like in those 7 days. It's just really, really good. I genuinely recommend it. Do it. But 3, toxic relationships with Duolingo.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if they would, like, if I try that out and it is as good as it looks on paper, I wonder if they would consider that sort of arrangement with me. I could use the fucking money, certainly.
Probably going to call this...
And because at the moment, this is my main source of income, my various projects. All support is very much appreciated and can be sent here. I'm dropping a link in chat.
Video like Duolingo is finished. Of course it's not, right? It's still worth like $23 billion, which is honestly insane to me. For all the people who did commerce in 10th grade at school and firmly believe that the best product always wins every single time.
Yeah, clearly not.
Duolingo had one job. It failed at that job, and it made $25 billion. And they've done this by...
Well, I mean, they had one job to make a shitload of money, and they did that job.
Millions and millions of people into toxic relationships with Duolingo. It never really worked that well. It's getting worse. A lot of people don't even like using it, but they do anyway. And it's costing them something that they probably can't afford. I don't think that saying some people are in a toxic relationship with Duolingo is at all a stretch.
There are actually people who have done Duolingo for years, only to travel to a country that speaks the language that they've been trying to learn and not be able to literally do or say anything.
Yeah.
Some of the lessons even feel a bit like ChatGPT-ish, you know? And then they came out and said it. We're going to use AI, and you're going to learn just the same as you've been learning. And
Which is true, because you won't be.
I had friends who were like, I'm not learning anything already. And honestly, what's the fun of using Duolingo if you could just use any sort of like OpenAI, any sort of AI program to make your own learning course? If it's AI, then what's special about it?
Duolingo knows that it's not good for its customers. They know that. They know that they are not in the business of teaching language. That's kind of their brand now. They're like, oh, we're this self-aware language learning app that doesn't really teach you a language. I saw it in a comment somewhere on YouTube that said, even Duolingo knows that it's more of a meme than a language learning app.
That's
And
about right.
Completely true. We can see that they've privated all their Instagram and TikTok videos, and they've turned the owl into this kind of conspiracy theory, Occupy Wall Street kind of character with a third eye. And at some point, probably quite soon, they will make their Instagram and TikTok public again. I'm completely sure of that. They are just openly a social media drama performance now.
Yeah.
And they know full well that actual language learners who actually want to learn languages are not using Duolingo and are not watching.
Yeah, because it's garbage. Josh Johnson?
Any of this crap. Duolingo is to language learning as WWE is to serious combat. Like, yes, ostensibly, WWE is fighting. And
With slam poetry.
Duolingo is ostensibly a language learning app. But anyone with half a brain can see that it's all just this big media show now. And so if you would consider yourself a language learner who is more interested in learning a language, but you're still using Duolingo and still getting caught up in all this drama, then I would argue that you're in a bit of a toxic relationship.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you actually, if you actually just enjoy the thing that Duolingo is. Oh, that's who that is. Okay. I wasn't familiar with him. If you somehow just enjoy the thing that Duolingo is, then that's one thing. But if you actually want to learn a language, then don't fucking spend money on that crap. It does not do the thing. There are so many more enjoyable ways that actually work.
And yes, I get that that's a pretty heavy thing to say, but let's be honest, we're talking about an app, so it's okay to admit it. I'm sure many people can identify with it.
Yeah, I mean, it does psychologically manipulate you. I mean, and not just with, like, the XP and the streak and that stuff, which has nothing to do with language learning. I mean, calling it a language learning streak is already just a fucking lie. But, like, the way that if you don't use it for a couple of days, they send these emails, they make you, that are supposed to, like, tug at your heartstrings and, like, oh, you've hurt this app's feelings because you haven't used it. That's fucked up. And, I think about the fact that there are, like, kids using that thing, and they don't necessarily immediately see through the manipulation. I mean, but because that's what it is. It is just a total manipulation. I mean, and if you've been around and you're used to this kind of bullshit, then you see through it and maybe it doesn't have that effect. Although I will say, I mean, it did, even seeing completely through it, it did not have an effect on me. Because it is very much designed to feel like, like you have somehow offended or hurt the feelings of non-existent characters on a fucking app. And I mean, that whole thing is just deeply fucked up. Especially when it's used to rope people back into an app that claims to be the best way to learn languages when it isn't even doing that. I mean, that is fucked up.
Follow you, I would cancel your 500-day streak because you're better than this.
Just stop. It doesn't matter. It's just a silly game. You can stop playing. And if you're learning one of these languages, then I really would recommend Speakly. There's also a bunch of other stuff you can use for those languages and lots of languages. If you're not learning one of those languages and you're learning something else that you want resources for, leave it in the comments and either myself or someone else will get back to you with some resources that you can use. There's lots of stuff to learn languages.
Yeah. And a lot of it is 100% free, and a lot of it will be much more helpful than the emotional manipulation app. Now, I've been curious about this video for a little while. I mean, we haven't got a whole lot of time left. But it's Why I Decided Against Working as a Translator by Couch Polyglot. Not too familiar with her. I think we're in a couple of like polyglot related group chats that I am really terrible about keeping up with.
I studied translation and I've never worked as a translator. Why?
I'm just, as a translator myself, I'm just very curious. Danke, Dominique. I'm just, well, where's the chat window? There's the chat window. Wonderful. I'm just very curious to see what she has to say about this. So just drop the link to this video in chat.
Would I recommend people to study this degree? Why? Why not?
I will say I did not study a translation degree. A lot of the best translators out there have not studied translation in a degree program specifically called translation. I would very much advise against making that like a hard requirement when you're searching for translators, because it does not guarantee quality, and the absence of it does not guarantee the absence of quality. You'll find excellent translators with or without it. I would go so far as to say that the degree itself does not necessarily increase the probability of a quality translation significantly. I say that as someone who does not have such a degree, so you can take that however you want. But, I mean, I've edited people both with and without them, and I've not noticed a significant difference in the quality of their work.
The topic of today's video. Thanks a lot for your comments, for subscribing, for being patrons, for being Ko-Fi supporters. This helps me a lot. If you're ready, let's get started. You know, when I started studying translation, it actually felt very easy to me, and in a way it surprised me, because I always thought that university would be so difficult. But translation was so practical, and I am a practical person. I don't like theory so much. I don't like learning by heart. So it really felt easy and nice, and I really enjoyed, especially at the beginning, you know, working with real texts and taking, you know, the meaning from one language to the other. It was all fun and games, and then the interpreting courses came along, and I realized how difficult that was.
And for anyone who's not familiar, which seems to be a lot of people, translating and interpreting are two very different things. Translating always involves written material. A translator works with written material. An interpreter is doing it with voice, doing it orally, with spoken material in real time. Sometimes simultaneously, sometimes continuously. But, yeah. It's a very different thing, and it's really a different skill set. Some people have both. But not everybody does, because it's a complicated thing to be good at.
Imagine someone speaking
both of them
in, let's say, Spanish, and you need to translate it into English, and they're speaking, you're processing what they're saying, translating it in your head, and speaking. Right?
That is the main difference. This is what makes it really complicated. Because as a translator, you have a certain amount of time to think about it. You aren't under pressure to give the result of the translation process straight off. You don't have to do that. You've got like a day or two where you can mull it over and say, yeah, I think the word for that's going to be emphasized, but maybe not. There are a lot of different ways you could say that. Like, I mean, in the Skull and Thigh translation, I just got done going over the copy edit of the manuscript that is going to Haymarket Books. They're going to be putting it out as a book later this year. And there was a translation choice that I made back in, like, 2022. And when it had been the sentence it was in had been flagged up by the copy editor. I forget exactly what it was about, but I remembered the dilemma, like the just conundrum that I faced trying to figure out the best way to render it, and I still was not entirely happy with my solution. I ended up changing it. You know, sometimes you have a lot of time to work these things out. But if you're doing interpreting, you've got to do it like that.
While you're speaking, you're also listening to what they are saying next. It's not like they're gonna take a break after every sentence. And that was too fast for me. I have huge admiration for interpreters. I think it's a very difficult job.
It is.
And
and another thing, let me just say this in support of like my interpreter colleagues. One thing you got to know, if you're not used to hiring interpreters, you're not used to working with them, if you're doing any kind of simultaneous or near simultaneous interpreting, you should not be making them work more than like a couple hours at a time. You need to be giving them long breaks in between. You just have to accept that that is part of it. And if you require the services of interpreters for longer than that at a stretch, you need to hire more interpreters, because this tires people out, and when people get tired, they don't necessarily do as well at the thing that they're doing. And aside from that, it's just exhausting. I mean, your throat dries out.
Though I speak many languages, I'm not able to do it. That's why I decided to focus more on translating and less on interpreting.
Yeah.
But to be honest, over time, I realized that it was a little bit boring to me. So I could translate a text for an hour, maybe an hour and a half. And then I was like, yeah, well, that's the result here. I don't know, it's just a text. And at the end of the day, I thought, I don't know, I feel like it's really boring.
I mean, I find it depends a lot on what you're translating. Like, a lot, but I will say, like, anyone considering doing translation work, a lot of the stuff you get paid to translate is boring as shit. And you just have to accept that it's going to be boring as shit, and you work with that. If you want to, like, make money at it. Although these days, I mean, I don't know if anyone is making money translating. Not many people seem to be. From what I can tell, it's been a really, really shitty period. But, like, boredom is going to be part of it. You will translate things that are more boring than anything you ever thought existed. If you're very lucky, you will occasionally get really exciting, interesting stuff to translate, but mostly you will get boring shit.
And I couldn't see myself
Everybody
doing
does that.
this for 8 hours a day. And to be honest, I also heard that, you know, translating jobs are not...
I mean, the advantage of freelance translating is you don't necessarily have to be working 8-hour days. Like, I mean, if you've got a good paying client, and you've got a reasonable deadline, then you can set it up so you can be working 3 or 4 hour days. You know, if you're doing it on a freelance basis, then you're getting paid by the volume of your translation, how many words you've translated. And if you've got, so the only thing determining the length of your day is your preference and the deadline. So, I mean, potentially, if you get set up right and you're working with people who pay well enough, you do not have to have an 8-hour day on it. You can potentially occasionally have like a 1 or 2 hour day, and you're fine because it's just a really well-paying job.
That very well paid. Of course, if you're an interpreter, you know, the pay is a lot better.
True.
But I think it's also something to consider when you're choosing a career, whether you're going to be able to make a good living out of it or not. And I realized, well, if this was my passion, if this was something I was like burning for, like, yeah, I love it, I'm having so much fun with it, and so on, then fair enough, I could do that job. But if it was already something I was getting bored about during my studies, imagine doing this for like 35, 40 years. I felt like, no, I don't think this is what I want to do. If you also find...
I mean, of course, the thing is, not only that, I mean, these days... Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I had assumed that when she was saying she was not going to be working as a translator despite getting a degree in translation, I had assumed it was going to be because of the fact that it's really, really hard to make a living doing it anymore. So I'm actually surprised to hear, I mean, the quite understandable objection that it is often very boring.
Translating time
Which it
consuming
is.
and boring,
It absolutely is.
Why not try Immerse Translate and see if it's free? Immersive Translate is a free AI-powered translation tool.
Oh, fuck off. Fuck off. This, yeah, I mean, don't use this product. Like, seriously, do not use this product because you will not get an accurate translation. That is one thing you can guarantee, it will be garbage.
So that is the really fucked up thing about this time for translators, because like the spinning Jenny actually spun things, you know? The fucking Jacquard loom and all that stuff, it did the thing it was supposed to. These garbage ass apps do not do what they're supposed to do. They are not capable of doing what they're supposed to do, and they make huge amounts of money and destroy the livelihoods of people who actually can do the thing that these apps are supposed to do, and will take your money on the false claim that they're able to do. It's a scam.
And browser extension that is already helping more than 10 million people break language barrier.
Well, or so they think. Like, seriously, do not use this crap.
What's incredible is how seamlessly it integrates into your workflow.
Yeah, okay, I'm skipping. Yeah, skip that shit. I mean, what's amazing is that you could, like, go through an entire degree as a translator and not understand why apps like that are garbage. That tells me that the degree program was kind of deficient.
I think there are three main reasons why I've never worked as a translator. Two of them I already mentioned. On the one hand, I actually found it too boring to be doing this for 8 hours a day. Of course, you know, you have to work at something, so if you find everything boring...
Well, I mean, unless, of course, you're a member of the capitalist class, in which case you don't have to work as anything. Other people do that for you.
Well, you need to, you know, do a job. But I was like, well, I don't think this is like my first choice. Then the second reason was that it's not very well paid. If you're an interpreter...
The thing is, it's like, whether it's well paid depends entirely on who you're working for. But the tendency has been downward, as in a lot of industries. I mean, in my own experience, the golden age for translator incomes was pre-2008 global financial crisis. It's never really recovered since then, and I've heard that from a lot of people. Because that was like when a lot of companies stopped properly investing in, you know, in good translations and being willing to pay for quality. But I've just noticed it is time to wrap up. Thank you to everyone who joined in. It's always good to see you, and I will be back at 4:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time on Friday. Have a good day.